Alright everybody, so we are here fixing our microwave oven once again, and today we're going to be reinstalling our control board that goes right up over in here. Now the postman has brought us today, look at this, our board has been remanufactured, and this is our board, and I'm going to show you exactly how we put this in this video. So if you have a General Electric under and over microwave oven system, excuse the extra parts that I have in here, this is for the new magnetron that'll be being installed as well. We've got some star screws there and there, so I'm gonna go get my star screw tool and we are gonna pop those out and be back in 1 second. Alrighty folks, so the proper bit for this job appears to be the ubiquitous T20, and yeah, it's already been loosened because I took the board out, so I never retightened it properly. I'll put a handle on this later when I put this back and retighten it. I'm gonna crank it. There we go. And out they come. Sorry, you're seeing my hand and not me spinning the screws here. Sometimes it's just easier to do it with your fingers, even with my big fat sausage fingers. There goes one, and we'll spin this one a little bit out further. Sorry, aiming this thing in the wrong place. And out she comes. There we go. And this is it's gonna come. Now, there's a T slot on the left side. So the way that it works is it kind of comes out this way, and then it comes up and out. And if you can look, you'll see the little T slots right there. That's what I'm talking about. There's 3 of them, and they fit in with these little hook guys over here. And of course there's this thing at the bottom here for the door, and that's this flappy part over here that mates with the door. Now we've got the big green grounding strap over here, and we can use this to just hold this whole thing in place. It doesn't weigh all that much, but we can use that while we reinsert this and plug everything back in. So our wires for this are right over here. We have our wires, not too many of them, right? We've got this one, which I think goes into the relay, and then we have our board wires over here, and they're pretty simple. We also have this wire, which we have to be very careful with. This is a ribbon cable. It's very, very delicate. It's going to slide in place, and it is for the display. So I'm actually going to do this. I need both hands to do this. I don't have a way of holding this, but I'll be right back, and you'll sort of see through the magic of what I'm doing. By the way, there are 2 screws here. These 2 screws you see I'm pointing at. This is for the transformer, and the transformer is right on this guy. This is a separate transformer. There are several transformers in the microwave, but it's for this one over here, and they use the big screws. So anyway, I am gonna have to have both hands, and I'll show you this as we go. Okay, everybody. So here's a quick recap of what we did, just so you can all see it. So first, I lifted up this blue portion right here. This slides up a little bit. That lets you push this guy down until it goes no further. And then you push this down and it locks in place. Then 1, 2, 3, and 4 connectors all put on. That's it. This now gets lifted back up, put into place, and screwed back in. That's all there is to it. That's all there is for the board replacement portion of this. Until we get it powered back up and on, don't know if it works, but we'll check the connections again, make sure everything is nice, and it all clicked, which is a good sign. When you hear those little clicks, it's like a great sign. It's like click, 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 you know it's on. Okay, so this is gonna go back up and in, and I'm gonna screw it back in place, and that's that. That's all there is to it. I need both hands for this. Say, hopefully I'll be able to show you it working again once it's fixed. Okay, everybody, so this is going to be the replacing of the magnetron. The first thing you have to do with this under and over microwave oven deal is, it's a baking oven and microwave, is remove the two Torx 15 screws. So where are they? Well, you're going to open up the door here. I took out my my glass plate already because that's a large weight in the oven that you're not going to need. And right under here, you're going to see there's one, and then over here is another one. So we're going to remove those two, and then this entire unit's just going to come right off. And yeah, so let's do that now. And I've got my trusty screwdriver here, righty tighty, lefty loosey. And as you can see, out comes the first screw. And it's not very hard to take these out. By the way, these are short. Do not lose these screws, or you will hate life. Look at this. It's just a little tiny little screw there. That's one. Put this in a safe spot. I'll put it next to my new magnetron here on the counter so I don't lose it. And then we're going to go for the second screw, which is right here. Again, this is the Torx 15 bit, and this is going to come out. And yeah, this is one of the things that makes your surround look so nice, is the fact that the screws are hidden and you don't have any ugly screws sticking out. And now the entire piece is just going to come away. So I'm going to close this door, and we're going to take this off, and you're going to see how it looks without this fascia on, and it's just going to pop out, folks. So here we go. Just going to wiggle it a little bit. You got to wiggle it a little bit, and this is it, right? It just comes right off. Oops, you know what? I am forgetting something. So underneath, bad me. So underneath we've got some more Torx screws. We're going to take those out. Boy, oh boy, I forgot about those. So are these, yeah, these are the, okay, these are the sheet metal screws. Oops, I dropped my screwdriver. Gotta love this about doing this live. You get these little screws over here. See this little guy? There's one, and there's two of these also, I believe. Do we have two or three? We have three. Sorry, we have three. Need my little handle so I can get that kind of super duper grippiness on this guy. I'm gonna do this. There we go. And out she comes. So easy. And it doesn't look like anyone has cleaned this oven in a while, so I apologize for the internet having to see my dirty oven. Here we go, number 3. Coming on out. And again, you're seeing it all, folks. You're seeing everything, all my mistakes and everything else. And now it simply comes away. There it is. Look at that. So 2 screws on top, 3 on the bottom, and that's it. We're going to put this off to the side here so that we can get access to the rest of this. Okay. So we have this screw and this screw. And when you take them out, and then this whole thing's on rails and it comes right out. And that, folks, is genius, and I love that. I talked about that before. And it's absolutely the greatest thing ever. And I love it because it makes life just so much easier to deal with. So here I go, taking out this little guy. Sorry if I am boring anyone. Goes one, put him over there. Here goes the other one. And you don't have to worry about this falling because it's resting on a rail, a sliding rail. Now I can slide the whole thing out. But first I have to disconnect the wiring harnesses. And these are all pretty straightforward connections. you're going to see 1, 2, 3. That's all there is. And can you see it in there? Maybe I can get it from the side. You squeeze the 2 little ears on the side. You wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And out she comes. There's one. Here it goes. That's the first one. The first one was this, the green, black, and white. And then you got the second one, which is going to be a whole bunch of these here cables. I'm going to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle this guy out. Maybe I can get under there. There you go. That's the second one. Whole bunch of wires there. And then last but not least, you got the third one, which is going to be your gray, red, orange cable. Wires, I should say. Again, it goes into that Molex connector. I'm calling it a Molex connector. I don't know if it's a Molex connector. That's a generic term I'm using there. And once this is out, folks, I will be able to simply slide this entire unit like this. See me sliding it? I'm sliding it, yo. Okay, I'm gonna have to shut this off while I physically take this and remove it and bring it over to my kids' play area so that I can remove the side, because we're gonna take off the side. And by the way, if you're not sure about any of these things, take lots of pictures while you're doing this so you can put this together back the way that you found it. By the way, I have shut off all the power. You don't see any power on. I was in the garage and I flipped off the breakers, so there's no power going to this. Once we take off this side panel, I'm going to discharge the capacitor, which can kill you. Yes, that capacitor can kill you. Listen up, folks. You got to discharge that capacitor so it doesn't kill you. And that's a big safety thing, but don't worry about it right now because you can't touch it. It's behind all this metal in here. There's metal over here, metal around here. And yeah, so we're going to slide this out. And then I'm going to put it over in the play area. I'm going to take the side off, discharge the capacitor, remove the magnetron. We're going to put in this nice new magnetron right over here, along with its diode, this guy right over here. Diode is like this is really nice the way they sell this. It's already got the little round thingy on the bottom there, the connector on the bottom, and the sliding connector on the top, so you slide into the thing. So this way you can't screw it up, right? You can't put it in backwards. It's already done for you. It has been fool-proofed, so a fool cannot make the mistake. Because Lord knows, I would probably make a mistake. Of course, this is your standard replacement magnetron. I took the number off the old one and ordered a new one. This will be screwed in, replacement, simple plug and play replacement. You don't have to worry about, oh, it's not the right one or anything. It is an exact, it is the exact correct unit. So take the old one out, new one goes right in. 4 screws, plug, you're done. And this guy gets installed, and then it all gets put back together and goes back in place right here. But right now I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to have to shut this off for a second while I do that. Okay, folks, so I have removed the microwave oven from its enclosure, its home, across over here. One of the tricks, by the way, is, so I said you just slide it out. Well, yeah, that's true, you slide it out. So you slide it out until you reach this little notch, and then you have to lift up. So there is that trick, you should know that. Slide, lift up and out, lift up and out, and then she's out. But anyway, yeah, so you slide it out of there. So anyway, we have her over here, and we're going to take off the surrounding material. I'm just grabbing some tools here. This is going to be the discharge the capacitor, and we're going to take off this this metal superstructure around here. And we got a couple of let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5 Phillips screwdrivers, 5 Phillips screws, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and one on the other side of these sheet metal screws. So let's take out the sheet metal screws first, and then we'll take out the Phillips screws, and you'll see this opened up, as it were. Let me do that. Okay, people of the internet, so here we are. This is the magnetron that we're going to be replacing, and below it is the transformer, and off to the side we have the capacitor. along with the diode that we have to replace. So this is a capacitor that has enough voltage in it that can kill you. So you have to be very careful when dealing with this. You have to discharge it. You're going to pull off those 2 wires, and then you're going to put a pair of pliers that are insulated, probably wearing a rubber glove, and touch those 2 poles together. And that is what's going to discharge that if it still has a charge in it. Again, this has enough electricity in it to kill you. So exercise extreme caution when dealing with this. Now when we replace our magnetron right over here, we've got the 4 screws. You can see those right there, 2 on top, 2 on bottom. We have the 1 high voltage connector, and that's all it is. Pops right out, the new one goes right on. Easy peasy. All right. I'm going to need both hands for this, so I'm going to put this off to the side. You're going to see me here removing the connectors. Can you see that? There you go. You see me pull off that pole, and then you're going to see me pull off this guy over here. Right, now one of these, you see, these are coming off the transformer. These 2 over here, one comes off the transformer, and then one is going into that diode. And that diode is a one-way gate, in case you're curious. What its purpose is, it is a one-way gate that prevents voltage from coming back and forth. Now you can tell by the way that this is shielded in here, we're not going to be able to just get in a screwdriver like this to touch these poles together. So we'll need a pair of needle nose pliers that are insulated handles to get in to touch those together. But again, very easy to do. Boom, boom, we discharge it, and it's safe. We're not replacing this, but we are replacing this diode right here. This is going to be replaced. So this is part of every time you replace a magnetron, you got to replace the diode. This 1 screw over here holds it in. We can get that out pretty easily as well, so that's not going to be a problem. And in 1 second, you'll see me with the pliers touching these together. Okay, internet people. So what I have here is a pair of T-strippers. And you may say to yourself, hey, are these T-strippers, are these things conductive? And the answer is these are conductive. How do I know that they're conductive? Well, because I've blown holes in these things from arcing them numerous times. Now we get that out of the way. And we're going to touch these 2 together. Touch them, touch them, touch them. Are they touching? They're touching. They are touching. Okay. This is safe. This is now safe. We don't have to worry about electrocuting ourselves. This is safe. Okay. Now we can pull this off. And the first thing we're going to replace is this magnetron. We're going to get this off. Then we're going to worry about that diode. We've got these 4 screws. And I apologize for the low light. I hope you can see everything. I'm going to get in here to get this screw out. Let's see, can you see that? There's my screwdriver. And nothing special here. These are just Phillips head screws. And you're watching me turn screws. Don't lose these, you're gonna need them. You know, a magnetic screw catcher thingy would probably be pretty good right now. Unfortunately, I don't seem to have that. So, I'm just going to reach in with my T-strippers and grab my screws 1 by 1 as I pull them out. There's one. We could use the other screwdriver, although I don't know if this one's going to be better or worse. Sometimes you put in a screwdriver and you're like, oh, this is the best screwdriver ever. And then that's like your favorite screwdriver for the rest of your life. I have not met that screwdriver yet. I mean, I have some screwdrivers I like more than other screwdrivers, but at the end of the day, it's just a screwdriver, right? I mean, I saw this one guy, they're selling like an $80 screwdriver. Oh, this is semi-magnetic. I say semi-magnetic. The problem is, you're fighting a magnet, because there's a giant magnet in the magnetron. I know, right? Magnet in the magnetron. Where'd that come from? All right, now I got my bottom 2 screws I got to get out. By the way, this job is infinitely more easy when you're not filming a YouTube video, by the way. Just putting that out there for everybody. Just so you know. Every job takes twice as long when you're making a YouTube video than what it normally takes or should take. And things that normally don't go wrong will go wrong on the YouTube video. You're going to drop stuff on a YouTube video. You're going to spaz out. Probably call people names. Probably remember that ex-girlfriend from so many years ago. I wonder what she's doing these days. God, why did I say that? I don't know. I don't know why I do anything. When you're making a YouTube video, these are the things that happen. Shout out to all the YouTube maker video people out there doing stuff like this. Is this going to fall out right on my finger because I'm not doing this right? Okay, there we go. Drop that on the transformer. Okay, the moment. Okay, she's free. Oh, I forgot to mention. So, also we got to take off this guy on top. He is a sensor, and he senses. He's one of those overload sensors. When something gets too hot, it's a cutoff switch thingy, majingy. Okay, so there we go. That's that. And out she cometh. And I look at her and taking her out like this. I can't tell jack squat that she's burned, but I know she's burned because the last one was burned. So what was going on this unit, by the way, was this board over here on the top, which is the microwave control board. The bottom one's for the oven. This top board had something wrong with it. I think it was the relay. And that relay caused the oven to go on when it wasn't supposed to go on and cook itself. So you keep a microwave oven on, and this guy's just cooking away, and there's nothing in there. That'll burn out your magnetron for sure, no question about it. So that's what we did. We had burned out the magnetron. Now I'm going to take out this little plate over here with these two screws, and we're going to put him on the other one. So yeah, when this burns out, I'm trying to remember. And I did this last time I replaced this. I checked. One of these is open, and two of them are normally closed. And what happens is when there's too much heat, this will open up and it'll shut everything off. And then there's one that's normally off that the heat will turn it and make it close, and that'll kick on the fan or something. I don't remember. Anyway, it's not important because we're not dealing with it right now. But these two screws are going to come out, and we're going to move this little guy from here to the other magnetron. We're going to check the magnetrons, make sure that they are the same magnetrons. And then we go grab that as I take this off. We can transfer this. Then we install it and put everything back just the way we found it. And let's not forget, since this is all open now, we've got a good area to work to get that diode out. We're going to pull that out too. So I'm going to be right back with the new magnetron, and yeah, go from there. Okay, folks, so here's our side-by-side of our old unit. I already took off the sensor, put it on the top, reinstalled it with the two screws, and you can see we have the exact same numbers. We've got a Samsung OM75P, and then in parentheses they've got the 31 ESGN, and again on our new one exactly the same, OM75P 31 ESGN. So this is going to be right our 1000-watt unit, and interesting, they have the exact same date for the manufacturer date, 10/11/21. That's very interesting. They all have the same date that they were made, 10/11/21, unless that's not a date, unless that's something other than the date. But that's bizarre. Okay, maybe that's just a maybe that's just a weird fluke. I don't know. That's bizarre. Could these all be counterfeit copies? Do they counterfeit these things? I don't know. So anyway, I just noticed that is crazy. So I'm going to install that, and we're going to remove and replace our diode, and I'm putting it all back in, and that's going to be that. I need both hands, so you don't get to watch me replace the diode. You're just going to have to take my word for it, and here's the new diode, and it's going to go right where that screw is, and that's about that. Alrighty, see you in a few. I have reinstalled the diode, as you can see, and I have reconnected the connectors to the capacitor, and just trying to get as deep in there as possible. You can see those are connected nice and tight. You give them a tug, you can tell they're on there. If they weren't on there, you would know. Also, the fact I got the camera in here makes it easy. I can physically see that. I can optically see that they are on here. All right, so now we're going to put on the new magnetron. Again, this connector is going to go into the high voltage, and then we have our two connectors up on top for our sensor. Again, I'm going to need my hands for that, so see you in a second. Okay, the new magnetron is in, and what I did was I started each screw just a little bit with my fingers, and then I went around with my big screwdriver, tightened a little bit on each one. Now I noticed that these ears, the ears look to be bent to me, these pieces of sheet metal that come down, the mounting ears as I call them. I don't know what they're actually called, but I call them mounting ears. So anyway, they looked a little bit bent, so that's why I did the technique of going around to each one and tightening them a little bit at a time individually, and then going back around again, kind of the way you torque a tire on, because I didn't know if they were bent or not. But anyway, this piece of plastic over here, which vents everything out from the heat on this, that fit on perfectly. My sensor wires popped on just great. And now, last but not least, we have our high voltage connection, which we're going to make right now. This is going to pop in, you give it a good squeeze. There you go. Make sure that it is fully seated. And she's in. Now, the last thing for me to do on this is button it all up, put all the screws back on, put the sheet metal back the way that it was. And this is going to be easy because I took a whole bunch of pictures to show me which screws go where. So I will not have to guess. And then it goes back into the wall, and we can turn it on and test it. And that's going to be about it. And I will show you the turning it on and testing it, because I'm not going to waste your time screwing on some sheet metal I have laying around over here. Plus it's really dark in this room for some reason. Alrighty, see you in a few. Alrighty, so the back side is all back on, the guts are all covered up, all the screws are put in, pretty much in the same place that they came from, so that's always a good thing. Now the last thing to do is pick her up and put her back in that hole in the wall over there. So let me do that, and then we can reconnect all of our connections and fire her up. Okay, my friends of YouTube, so she's back in the wall, and I've put the screws back in. And this was a real bitch to get back in, because it takes a certain amount of muscle to lift it up, push it, and then let it pop down. And actually, you just have to kind of wiggle it on there. But as long as you got it sort of straight, you can kind of force it down, and then it pops back in place. If I were redesigning this, I'd probably cut off those tabs if I was ever going to do this job again. The one, not these tabs, the ones on the inside that where you go down and lock in, because sliding is just so much easier. But I don't know, maybe it's for earthquakes. Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. Anyway, I don't know why, safety feature, whatever. But it's done. It's back in. Just going to connect these three connectors underneath, 1, 2, 3, and then put the fascia back on it, and we will be done. There we go. The fascia is back on, and I'm about to go turn on the power, and let's see what we get. All right, folks, the power is back on. The clocks have been reset, and we are in the middle of our boiling water test. Power 10, about 2 minutes left on this, and let's come back when it's actually boiling. Okay, folks, I don't know if you can see this, but she is boiling. Look at this. Can you see this? We're going to stop it in a second, and we got it to a nice rolling boil. We're going to clear off, pop her open, and there you go. You can see she is boiling. Oh, there we go. It works. Hooray! We're back in business. Alrighty. Another job well done. Thank you for watching, folks. And now that the water is boiling, I make myself a nice cup of hot chai. There we go. Look at that smoke coming off there. That is, ooh, that's hot. Alrighty. Happy days. Our microwave is working. We're back in business, and I'm going to have a nice cup of tea. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching.